Welcome to our deep winter greenhouse here at Alternative Roots Farm. Let's take a look at the outside. We've got our 60-degree glazing angle on the front. We had to build up a little bit here on the front side for construction. We have peak window on both the east and west sides. Entrance door on the west side. Back of the greenhouse. Egg shelter. And here is our west facing side with an exterior window in the back room and another peak window. So that's a quick look at the outside of the greenhouse. Let's take a look inside. So the back room, the whole structure is 24 by 24. The back room is 6 feet wide here. And it's very important for heat management in the building. What I use this space for is storage of my soil and other supplies, trays, gutters. These are all gutters waiting to be washed and put back ready for next season. I've got my seed fridge here, containers for green CSA, towels, all of that stuff. I have a soil mixing station here, and I keep all my amendments, and then during the winter greenhouse season I can use this table to put my gutters in and fill up my gutters and trays, and right now it's set up for soil blocking and doing my transplants. So and more storage underneath. So that's the back room. Storage, supplies, mixing, harvesting if it's too hot in the front room, and heat control. Let's take a look in the front room. We have about 16 by 22 on the interior here. You can see that most of this space in the front is allocated towards growing. Then we've got storage and planting and harvesting space on the back, a little walkway, and then during the winter growing season, this whole front part is allocated for growing. The way I have everything set up right now is for our end of the spring transplant production, or this is where we switch to after we're done with our winter greens, or a little before we're actually done. So in the winter season, these 3 front tables will be where they are, but then this second and third tiers will be a second and third level. The tables, I think they're about 18, a couple of feet higher, this height, that height. They overlap about a foot over top to not shade the bottom ones. And that's how we maximize the space for growing greens in the winter. And the first tier all along the front here, I use for microgreens and pea shoots. And then the second and third growing levels, which you can see here, I use for growing baby salad greens in gutters. Like you see, I have basil in here. All right. So we're at the very, very end of our transplant season here. I brought all my last transplants for sale to the local greenhouse there a couple of days ago. And all my squash and tomatoes will be going out to harden off, and we'll be emptying out the greenhouse here pretty quick. It is May 21st. And so far it's been nice in here, but if we had a really hot spring, it could get pretty hot in here. All right, it's 72 in here today, partly sunny outside today. So that is kind of the setup for how we grow our greens in here. And let's look at other key elements in our greenhouse here. The circulation system. Up here in the ceiling, we have an intake pipe. When it gets too hot in here, the fan, centrifugal fan up front, will turn on, and we will start drawing hot air into this pipe down into the base of the greenhouse, which is 4 feet deep rock bed with 1 3/4 inch rock. That's covered with a layer of landscape fabric, 3 inches of gravel, and then more landscape fabric. We do no in-ground or floor container gardening at this time. So the hot air is going in there, and then all along the front wall you can see the output PVC with drilled holes. Beneath the rock bed, at the bottom of the rock bed, there is another horizontal pipe like that in the front that's connected to this fan, and there's another one in the back that's all along connected to this pipe. Those are both perforated, so the warm air is getting kind of passively drawn through the rock bed by the fan, and when it's sucking in hot air on hot days, then there's cool air being distributed out this pipe to help dry condensation on the wall and help with air circulation, humidity, cooling off the structure. Conversely, when the temperatures go down at night during the winter, the thermostat will kick on, and the fan will kick on, and then it'll start bringing the warm air up from the rock bed, in addition to it passively coming up through the floor to help heat the space on cool nights. If it does get down to 45, the backup heater kicks on, and it kicks on for a few minutes here and there and nothing extensive. Also, to manage the heat, in addition to the circulation system, we use a 50% shade cloth. During this time of year, it is drawn all the time. During the growing season in the winter, I use it mostly on just sunny days. So then we have our peak windows. Oh, sorry. And this shade cloth is on a little pulley system, so we can pull it back and forth across easily on the cable there. We also have the peak windows for our heat management. These operate with wax cylinders that automatically open when it gets warm in here. They have a little bit of adjustment. And then on this window we have an exhaust fan that runs and kicks hot air out of the building, which seems to work better than trying to draw in cooler air. So, and of course the humidity management and heat management with the various fans we have is very important, which sit at different spots now than they do during the winter growing season, but you can see we have several going. Usually I have another fan over here in my germination space and a fan blowing in from the back room, as well as a dehumidifier to help manage the heat. During the winter growing season, the dehumidifier is mostly in the back room to manage the humidity back there, and then I will pop it up here if I feel like I need to manage the humidity a little bit, or this time of year it stays up here. So, and then along the back wall here, we have my note-taking area, my germination mats, and this is where I will seed and harvest and germinate my plants. I use this table also for harvesting and seeding. Underneath is where I will stack up trays for germinating microgreens and pea shoots. Do those in stacks of 3 or 4. And once those are germinated, place them out on the growing racks. I can do 12 gutters up here at a time to germinate. So I like to seed 12 at a time to get a nice batch all at once to germinate and harvest more on schedule together. And that works pretty great. I can't take any credit for coming up with this, but we have a shelf that goes up and down, which I use for harvesting and space saving. That's been pretty great. Other people have used like a gutter holder here to hold a gutter. I got some of those, but I never put them up. I like the shelf. The shelf works pretty good. So that's the inside of the greenhouse here. On the specs for the prototype and whatnot, we called for painting the walls white or, a similar alternative. We like this Agri-Lite walling. It's really light, easy to clean, and the white reflects the sun around to all of the plants and everything, and which really adds to things in the middle of winter. We've actually gone on to use this walling and several other projects, so it's been pretty nice. So that is a look inside of our greenhouse. If you have any questions, I think that's coming up next. So thanks for watching. Bye.